the good news is that I can kind of stuff all my kit in my bag. Yeah, clothes are overrated anyway, aren't they, right? And so it was that I jumped on a train with a bag full of race kit, 2 pairs of pants and not a whole lot else, and started my journey south. Train took me to train, which 3 hours later would land me on the south coast. Once I'd jumped off at Portsmouth, a short bus hop later I was on Southsea Beach, and here, this is where journey started to turn into adventure. This wouldn't be the most exciting machine that I'd see this weekend, but it was a hell of a start.
Here comes my partner in crime. Never been on a hovercraft before as Mike Seaboard, and I can tell you now, been in contact with him, he's having the time of his fucking life. And apparently they're going to need a crowbar to get him off because he wants another ride on it.
For the next couple of days, I'd be enjoying John's company on the Isle of Wight, although there was a lot to do. Running around the island, picking up kit, preparing equipment, all of which looked exactly how you would expect it to on the Isle of Wight. After all the errands had been run and a bit of elbow grease had been applied, we were locked and loaded and ready to go, and it was time to move on to an entirely different sort of preparation. John had never been to Donington Park before, and the sim did great work in providing a bit of familiarity. Playtime couldn't go on too late though, because we had a very, very early start on our hands.
Is full of farts. So bad. I've never towed a Fiat Multiple on a trailer either. No.
Hello, bonjour. Fuck. Ah, shit, we're the wrong way. Our journey finally ended at an innocuous-looking industrial unit in Ipswich, but what was waiting for us there was anything but innocuous. We didn't have much time to fawn over this crazy little machine though. Daylight was running out on us, so we got on with all the necessary prep to hit the road again, and a few hours later we found ourselves in the warm embrace of Derbyshire. Donington Park would be the venue for our little outing in 205. Nestled amongst rolling hills, this fast-flowing circuit is a regular feature on any club racing calendar, which made it the perfect location to get acquainted with the car. We'd be taking part in a public track day the following day, and unloading into our garage and getting all the kit prepared gave me my first real opportunity to get intimate with this incredible little machine. So what exactly is it? Well, it's a custom chassis and space frame loosely based on a national hot rod oval racer, but built from the ground up for circuit racing. A genuine Peugeot 205 shell has been integrated into the structure to make it compliant with tin top regulations. The power plant is a boldly built Vauxhall red top engine mated to a Quaife 6-speed sequential. The engine's on throttle bodies and is dry sumped. I know that you'll be wanting to hear it run, so fortunately once we had the car all bolted together, that's exactly what we did.
She's alive!
Once we'd made a stumpy little seat insert for my stumpy little arse, completed an exhaustive list of pre-flight checks, and confirmed that the car was shipshape and ready to go, we tucked her away for the night, ready for a big morning. Happy?
Yeah.
Oh, mirrors are all good. This
Yeah.
stayed?
Yeah, fine.
That stayed, yeah?
That's fine, yeah.
Okay, cool. Right, should we get you back out there? So I should probably explain how this all came about and what we're doing here. The 205 is John's car, it's his vision and it's his baby, but the sport has not been kind to him. He's had some unfortunate luck and some rotten incidents that have all conspired to keep him away from the racetrack, and he's yet to complete a race distance in a 205. I've done what I can in the meantime to keep him out there in my XJS, but that's not really any sort of substitute. The aim of today was to thoroughly shake the car down, build up John's confidence with it, and build up his confidence in himself to put him in the best position possible going into 2025. The day would start tentatively, scrubbing in some wets in the early stages while the track was still cold and greasy. It's worth noting that noise was a real concern for us, with a strict 98 decibel drive-by limit. We knew the 205 would probably push beyond that at its 8,000 RPM redline, so we'd be limiting ourselves in the early stages to 5,500 RPM and eking it out from there depending how loud we were. This was strictly enforced by precision engineered masking tape placed on the rev counter. My first experience of the car may have been on wets at half throttle and interrupted all too early by a red flag, but I'd still seen, felt and heard enough to know that we had a real machine on our hands.
I was gauge watching, it was all good.
Yeah, good.
5.5 is not doing her justice at all, is it?
It's actually quite sad, isn't it?
It is really sad.
With the early jitters out of the way, I was sent out to clean up the slicks, which were covered in muck and were pretty perilous for a few laps. Once they started cleaning up though, I started to see a little bit more of what this thing was capable of. It seemed that we weren't getting away from the red flags anytime soon, but still, the tyres were in, the car was singing, and we were well set for a great day of hilarious fun. We love red flags. What do you reckon, John? Not red flags?
Red flag.
Red flags. Despite the interruptions, we'd managed to eke out an awesome day's running. The car was absolutely fantastic. I could see John building confidence and falling back in love with it again. It was amazing to see. We'd been coming in surprisingly quiet over the course of the day, and we'd been gradually eking our masking tape rev limiter a little bit further out. And eventually we came to the conclusion that for John's last session, we should do away with it altogether. I won't lie, I was super jealous as I waved him off, knowing he'd be absolutely screaming along at the car's full potential. So I was super surprised a few minutes later to see him back in the pits again.
Doesn't feel right. But it's just like all of a sudden all my traction just went in the rear and I was like,
Okay, would you prefer for me to do it, or do you want to do it?
huh?
Do you prefer for me to do
Yeah,
it?
I want you, because you got the car knowledge.
Make sure it's fine, bring it back into view, yeah?
Yeah. Just do maybe a lap or two.
Turns out he'd had a funny sensation at the back of the car, wasn't too sure what was going on, and wanted me to go and check it out. I was happy to oblige. And the thing about race car problems is, they're not going to make themselves apparent at half throttle bimbling about. You're going to have to lean on the car a bit. How unfortunate for me. everything still felt great, and it was most likely just a subtle change in the tyre behaviour or maybe the track surface that had set off John's super sensitive spidey senses. Still, a couple of laps to be sure couldn't hurt, could they? And I was not going to say no to a full sunset send in this magnificent machine. Honestly, driving it down the pit lane might be the hardest thing I've ever done. I didn't just want to keep going, I never wanted to get out. I wanted to drive the thing out of the circuit, down the M1 and back home so that I could go to sleep in it and wake up the next day and do it all again. This thing was absolutely sensational. I've never been in a car that excited me so much. It's an absolute monster, it tickles all of the right bits and it's just fabulous to drive. But I had to be reasonable and remember why we were there. It wasn't the point. It wasn't about me. This was about John. John, who's had such an awful run of things, who really, really needed his car back in his hands, around Donna's, in the sunset, to make him feel like an absolute hero. And why wouldn't he? The car had behaved impeccably all day. Fresh from rebuild, it had been superb. The setting was perfect. The beautiful low sun over this fantastic track was a real sight to behold. John had never even been here before and he was absolutely smashing it. There's really only so much I can tell you about how joyous this day was. The best way to sum it up is to see John's reaction after he took the flag.